Hello and welcome back to the Coaches Show on SportsNetUSA.net. My name is Ryan Osborn, and today, we have the signifying start of another Fullerton College Hornet football season. It's the Burger Bowl. Burgers are on the grill, football players are on the field, and we're at House Scherbeck Field, signifying the start of another Hornet season. Fullerton, their first game is going to be Santa Ana College, but they're looking forward to a scrimmage against Pasadena City College. Thus, the coaches get an opportunity to be able to see their players start in game action beforehand, so that way they can evaluate some of their players. We're going to be able to talk to some of the coaches, and you're going to see that in just a couple moments. I'm here with the head coach of the Fullerton College Hornets, Coach Tim Burns. Coach Burns, Burger Bowl, how do you use it to be able to measure your players?
You know, Burger Bowl really want to get a lot of kids repetitions so that they can get used to this level of playing. We don't use that for a great evaluation. We use that to see who's willing to put their head in there and hit and run around and fly around. That's really about it. This next scrimmage, we'll do a little bit more of evaluation of who's going to be our first, second, and third string guys that are going to end up playing in the first game.
Speaking of that scrimmage, it'll be against Pasadena City College. Is that something to be able to tell you who is going to start week one against Santa Ana?
We're going to use that for also still development on kids because we have a young football team, but obviously whoever plays well in that scrimmage is going to get an opportunity to play in the first game of the season.
Speaking of that first game of the season, Santa Ana, key to the county game to start things off. How do you feel about starting off with a bitter rival such as Santa Ana?
You know, I'd rather play the game later in the year. Just it's a great rivalry. It's fun. I don't want to open with that game. But you know what? I want to play that game. So I'd rather play that game than not play that game. So that's the key. What makes you a little bit nervous is the first game of the year. Anything's up for grab in the first game, no matter who you play. So we got to make sure we prepare our kids well, and our kids go out there the first game ready to play and win a football game, and we'll be fine.
Is there any other games on the schedule that you saw encircled?
I don't think you circle any of them. I mean, in our schedule, every week's a big week. If you lose to a certain team, that could cost you a position in the playoffs. Going back to last year, if we beat Saddleback, we're in. If we beat Golden West, we're probably in. If we beat Orange Coast, we're in. So, you just can't, we end up beating the top four teams in the state, but then we end up losing to some teams that we shouldn't have lost to and cost us a playoff berth.
Now, this is your 8th opener as a head coach of the Fullerton College Hornets. Do you still get those butterflies in the belly going into it?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't excited about it and didn't get fired up for those types of things.
Coming off a season in which you said it yourself, you would have liked to beat a couple more teams that you weren't able to get over. How do you take that experience and transfer it into this season?
Well, I think last year, when you look at it, I mean, we beat the top teams in the state, beat Riverside when they were number one in the nation, you beat Mount Sac, you beat some great football programs. We just lost to teams that are good football teams, but in the middle of the pack. And you can't be a great football team and do that. You can't just get up for the big games and perform for the big games and then let people play with you in the other games. That's just how football is. And that's what we got to do a better job is making sure that we don't let our guard down and let us get beat by a team that we shouldn't get beat by. And that's the thing we have to make sure we avoid this year.
New offense coordinator this year. How do you adapt your entire system to the new style of play?
I've let him do his own thing, so I've kind of stayed away. So it's a little bit different for me. Obviously, we're a big power football team. We'll still be physical, but we will be a little bit more sets besides pro sets. We'll be in a pro set, but we'll be a little bit more spread out. And so he does a great job, so I'm leaving him alone and letting him do his thing.
Well, thank you, Coach. Good luck this upcoming season, and we'll see you against Santa Ana on September 3rd.
Thank you very much.
I'm speaking with the new offensive coordinator for Fullerton College football, Garrett Campbell. Coach Campbell, coming back to Fullerton College after being at Illinois, how does that experience help you here?
Well, I think it's not just in Illinois, but it's a culmination of my experiences from when I left here. My last season here was the '99 season, but leaving to go be a graduate assistant, be a coordinator, be a head coach for 8 years. I mean, I think all that just has really helped me, kind of just build up who I am and what I'm about and what I believe in and my philosophies, whether it be offensive football or how you develop young men. I think all that is really, it's a culmination of the whole thing.
What is your philosophy on offense?
Well, we want to obviously be sound. We want to run the ball. I do like to throw the ball. I'm a quarterback guy, so we're going to throw the ball. But we want to be sound in what we do. We want to make sure what we believe in is having repeated movements over and over, kind of doing the same thing repeatedly, making sure that our guys know that we want to run the ball early and throw it late. Throw the ball early and run it late. Got that backwards there. But we really we want to run the ball, and we want to have an effective and efficient passing game.
What is the optimal number of plays you would like to run per game?
Well, our goal every week is that I shoot for 100 plays that I have called. Obviously, you're going to have penalties. You're going to have some other instances where the play doesn't go off. But I try to shoot for 100 just because we like to go up tempo. Now, to be honest with you, I've had that goal for about 7 or 8 years, and we've hit it, I think, 3 or 4 times in that 7 or 8 years. So it's not something you really achieve a ton, but it's a good goal to set for the guys. And really, it's really about a mindset and a philosophy and practice, and it allows you to practice at a faster tempo. That really, then when you play on Saturday, hopefully the game isn't quite as daunting as it would be in terms of speed.
Now, who are some of the mentors for you in the game of football while you coach?
Well, obviously, obviously, my dad. When you're raised as a son of a football coach, you're around it your whole life, and you have 2 brothers who played in college as well as yourself. You spend a lot. When your vacations when you're younger are going to go to bowl games, that's the kind of family I was raised in. But then also, a good family friend is Bill Snyder at Kansas State, and I've watched him build the program up from Kansas State from 1989 when he took over the program. I've been out there a number of times to visit with him and staff, and so there's another one. Obviously, Gene Murphy was someone who, to me, meant not just in the coaching realm, but as a person, just meant a lot to me, having spent time as a player and a coach here at Fullerton under his leadership. But then beyond that, I've been around a lot of great guys in terms of maybe some NFL, maybe some small college, some incredible people. So one of my fondest memories is being around as an offensive coordinator, calling my first game at Menlo College, and having Bill Walsh stand on the sideline, and you're running Bill's play and Bill's offense, and Guy McIntyre, who was one of my offensive line coaches, comes up to me and gives me some recommendations that Bill had said that your first game as a coordinator, Bill says to do this, Bill says to do that. You kind of figure out how to get that done. So that's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed my career a ton. It's just been a lot of fun.
When you talk about Bill Walsh, he had his own identity when it came to an offensive mindset. How would you say yours differs from that style of football?
Well, I think the cornerstones of the offense are actually very similar. Short to intermediate passing game, solid running game, throw it early, run it late. I think the style is a little different. We're a lot more one back as opposed to 2 back. We will go a lot more empty. The timing is still critical, but it's just a little different. It's a little more nuanced how we run our patterns. But it's still, there's a lot of similarities. And if you watch us, you actually look and see, hey, there's a West Coast offense style of play. But then you're like, hey, these guys are in a spread look, so it's a little different that way.
Brand new quarterbacks coming in, freshmen. How do you determine who's going to be that week 1 starter?
Well, you'll let the play decide. And freshmen have a lot to learn. When you have a redshirt freshman, that's a little easier. But when freshmen have a lot to learn, and hopefully they're doing a good job of just kind of elevating from day to day, and they have. And I think what you see the difference is the maturity of a guy who's been out of high school for a year versus the guys who are just out of high school.
The SFCA.
Yep. Brand
new alignment. How do you guys scout other defenses going into week 1?
Well, what's funny is I have no history of these defenses. The last history I had was back in 1999. So I think they're different now. So what you've got to do is you've got to watch previous game film, which we have. You break down the film as best you can to kind of figure out what the opposing defense coordinator is really about, what's his philosophy and personality. You kind of analyze it that way. Obviously, throughout the season, we'll get game film from week to week, and we'll do the same thing. We'll break it down and find out what they do in situations, how they defend certain things. And it's just really just a matter of taking the time to study what they do.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck against Pasadena City College in the scrimmage and week 1 against Santa Ana.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be back.
Now I'm talking to the defensive backs coach here at Fullerton College, Phil Austin. Coach, last year you guys had a total of 11 picks. How do you look to improve on that season?
Well, just training our eyes, getting our eyes in the right place. A lot of guys, especially young guys, will stare at the quarterback the whole time and expect them to throw them the ball. In high school, you deal with quarterbacks, so underthrow balls, and you get a lot of lucky picks. So at this level, they got to learn that they're playing against real quarterbacks that can really throw it out there. So just adjusting from high school to college and getting the speed of the game and getting their eyes trained, that should help that.
Is it more on anticipation rather than reactionary?
Well, last year we ran a lot of man coverage and zero. So in those situations, the DBs, their eyes are on their man, and a lot of times you don't have opportunities for interceptions. You get a lot more sacks, but you won't have as many interceptions. You usually get interceptions in zone where you can see the quarterback throw the ball and make breaks on it. So interceptions are good, but we don't preach it as much. Interceptions, they come to you, they come from offensive mistakes or from good reads and film study. So a lot of the veteran guys, we expect them to get some interceptions, but it's not something I harp on.
A good week for a defensive back is when you don't really hear about them.
Mm-hmm.
How does that type of game, or how do you teach that type of game to a defensive back at the college level?
It's hard. Everyone has an ego. Everyone wants to be a superstar. But if you're playing corner and you have 13 tackles, that's probably not a good game. That means they're throwing the ball to you. But if you're a corner and you have 0 tackles and no balls thrown over there, that means people are covered on your side of the field and no one's catching the ball over there. So they got to get out of the mindset that stats are going to do something for them, because it's really overrated for a defensive back. Safeties, they'll make tackles. I look more at missed tackles than made tackles, though.
What's the perfect positioning for a defensive back when they're going 20 yards downfield?
20 yards downfield, at that point, we should have our eyes on our guy, even if we're playing zone. At that point, it turns into man. All our zones go off man concept. So anything after 10, 12 yards, we're pretty much locked on and looking at our guy. If we're close to him or on top, now we can look back to the quarterback and see through our guy. If we're in a trail position, we got to keep our eyes on our guy.
Who is someone to watch for this season?
I think D'Angelo Ross for sure. He's a returning starter, all-conference guy for us. Javon Burris did some good things before his shoulder injury. One guy that's really came on strong in the offseason is Dwayne Wood. He's a real good playmaker, real smart guy, and expect big things from him. And then we have a bunch of new guys here that are talented, that are still learning the defense, and will help us either. Hopefully some will help us early on, and a lot of them will help us long term.
Well, thank you very much, Coach. Good luck in the scrimmage and week 1. So there you have it. And since we are here at Fullerton College, Vincent Garcia, you're going to be doing a sports report coming up for KBPK.
That's right. I'll be doing it every single week. Tracy Thacker will be helping me out as the program director, and I'll be covering all Fullerton College sports, not just strictly football like we see as you're doing right now, Ryan. I'll be doing football, women's water polo, men's soccer, women's golf, cross country, had women's volleyball, of course, and I think I covered all the sports. So yeah, I'll be covering every single sport. I'll be doing what they did last week, what they're doing this week, upcoming games. It's just basically updates, and just to get the not only get the school involved, but also the fans, if they want to hear especially parents or even friends want to hear their friends or their kids on an FCC licensed radio station, 90.1 FM KBPK. And it's going to be great. And not only am I just going to do reports, I'll mix in a couple interviews as well. So maybe interview coaches and ask about their performance in just quick 7 seconds, maybe do something like, in one word, how would you describe your performance? But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be out in the football fields, soccer fields, maybe out on the golf course, out at the aquatic center. And that's basically going to be it. And in fact, for those of you who are wondering where to listen to it, you can listen to it on the TuneIn app. Just download it on your phone and just search KBPK, and it should come up right away. Most likely it will. And also, you can go to kbpk.fullcall.edu, and you can listen to it online. And if you're in the area, if you're in Fullerton, Buena Park, mainly those 2 areas, maybe Brea, don't know for sure, but you could be able to listen to it on live radio, 90.1 FM, and you just got to be in the right area, basically, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really going to enjoy it, and I just hope that the players and the coaches will enjoy it, but we'll just wait and see.
And don't forget, on sportsnetusa.net, you can watch community college football, Golden West College, LA Valley College coming up. Then you also have Sacramento City College, in addition to the Fullerton College Hornets as well. Check it out on Saturday. Go to sportsnetusa.net, check out the homepage, and you're going to be able to see what the upcoming games are on sportsnetusa.net, leader in community college football. So this has been the Coaches Show. I am Ryan Osborn. This is Vincent Garcia on sportsnetusa.net.